Hi, I'm Camilla.
And I'm Kang, and we are
the FI Resellers. We have a what sold video for you. We're going to share our best sales from the past 2 weeks, total up our numbers, how much we made as part-time resellers. So if you're interested, you want to stay tuned to the very end because we're also going to talk about some of eBay's recent changes and how they have affected our business.
Yeah, I got this ornament at a family thrift center, and this is not one of the outlets that we generally go to because I went during one of my lunch breaks, and this was the only thing I got. I looked up the comps, and it was surprising. So first of all, I got this for $2, and there were 2 comps to go by. 2 sold, 0 listed. The first one was sold for $150, and the other one was sold for just $50. And the funny thing about all of this is that I went after Christmas. This sold after Christmas. It's like January 7th is when it sold, and it sold for $100 plus shipping. So just insane. It is about 5 inches long. You know, it's not much of anything. It's just an ornament, but it is by Jim Shore, and this is definitely a brand you need to be on the lookout for. He has a very unique style of making his pieces. It's all going to be kind of like this geometric type shaping, and it's just really unique. And when you see Jim Shore, you should definitely look it up. A lot of his pieces can go for a ton of money, like this. So $100 for a single ornament, to me, I think is insane. And after Christmas, so this also shows that you sell Christmas pretty much all year round. So get it listed even if you find it after Christmas. So there you go, a really great way to get the year started. So hopefully the buyer loves this. Okay, it's pretty standard that we waterproof our items. So this is the first step. Then we're gonna bubble wrap it, and then we're gonna kind of float it inside the box. Just make sure that it is going to be well protected, even though it does have the styrofoam on the inside. And this is the original box, but we want to be extra careful with a $100 item. So this is where we're at. We have got this thing wrapped like crazy, and it is pretty much floating inside this box here around the bubble wrap, and we're just gonna package it up. So one other note is that I did say there was a comp for $150. I'm not exactly sure why that one went for so much, but this particular one had a little bit of like discoloration, or some of the paint was coming off, and the guy originally offered 75. We countered at 100, and I'm glad that he took it because I don't really want to be holding on to this for too long.
Here we have a Mountain Hardwear puffer jacket, and I picked this up even though it has some kind of marks on the surface. It's stained. I did wipe a good amount of them off. I was able to get them off just with like a wet, washcloth. Got some of it off. It looks like, to me, kind of salt, just from being out in the snow and out in the winter. This is a really thick puffer jacket, and thick puffer jackets definitely go for a lot. And this particular jacket is called the Hunker Down jacket. It's made with down filling. So this sold for $70, even with, it being in kind of rough shape. But really, it's more about utility, and this is definitely a very, very warm jacket, so it can go for a lot, especially because it's also from a really good brand. Mountain Hardwear is a great brand, and one that you should be on the lookout for when you are sourcing, because they make a lot of outdoor type items, and they can be worth a good amount. Okay, so here we sold a vintage tee. This is totally out of our wheelhouse, but I pulled it out of the bins one day, and you've got a good tee when the t-shirt bros come up to you and are like, oh my gosh, what did you find? Can I see it? And offer to buy it off of you at the bins. That's when you know you have something really good. Anyway, I sold this for $60 plus express shipping. The buyer needs it by Friday, so hopefully it will get there in time. I did priority express, so this is not in very good condition, but it is a super, super cool graphic. And I wish I had sold it last March when Duke was in March Madness and it was Coach K's last season. But since it sold for $60 plus shipping, I'm still really happy with that, especially because I beat out all those t-shirt bros I'm always beefing with. Well, not really beefing with them. I, really just mind my own business at the bins. But, I always see them at the bins, and they're always going through the bin so fast, and they miss this one, and I got it. So I feel like that alone is a victory, but then to have a really great sale on top of that is even better. This is single stitch, so that means, you can see that it's just one line of stitching rather than 2, where most modern t-shirts have 2 lines of stitching. I didn't see any others like this online with this exact Blue Devil. So just overall, really, really cool. I hope that the buyer loves this. and I am just happy to be able to keep things like this in circulation.
We sold this ergonomic keyboard by Microsoft. It's very obvious that it has some ergonomic features because of this kind of bump here, and it does split the keyboard right there. It's generally very easy to look up, and when you're looking up comps, you can just easily type it in because it's got the model right there. And this sold for $82.85 is what the buyer paid all in. It's even missing these little pieces right here that are supposed to be kind of like stands at the bottom. But overall, pretty happy with this. It took a little while to sell because of the shipping costs to the buyer. We do calculated shipping, and the buyer paid a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and refund them a little bit, probably like $10 or $15, just because they're willing to buy it. We might as well do them a solid and send back a little bit of that money because they paid a lot for this thing.
Okay, so here we have a Beretta hunting shirt or shooting shirt. I don't know if it's really used for hunting or just shooting, like recreational shooting, but this is new, and we sold this brand once before. It took a long time to sell, but that was just more like, it was almost like a flannel shirt, but this is definitely what they're more known for. They're shirts that you use, when you are shooting rifles, and it's got, these different patches on there. I do know that these kind of shooting shirts can be worth a good amount, and this one sold for $35 on Poshmark, and I listed this maybe a couple weeks ago. It hasn't been listed that long, so I was really happy with this sale. This was the full price that was on this shirt, which was really great. I love when I get full price sales on Poshmark, especially because that means that I don't have to do discounted shipping, which definitely eats into our profits on Poshmark. So when I get a full price sale, that always makes me really happy. Okay, so we sold this pair of Stuart Weitzman booties. I don't know if they're boots or booties. I think they're booties because they're kind of small. But we sold these for $35 on Poshmark. That was an offer that was sent to me. I had them listed originally at $50. They are in pretty good condition, and I think they are a more recent style. A lot of Stuart Weitzman you find, and it's like from the 80s. This was definitely a more recent style. It's not exactly the most trendy style per se, but they do look like they would be very comfortable. They'd be perfect for the workplace, all of that. So for those reasons, I listed it at $50. But they have been listed for a while, so I accepted an offer of $35. Did get a couple other lower ball offer. I mean, this was kind of low ball. Anyway, I got lower offers than this, and so when $35 came in, that felt pretty good to me. So I was happy to sell these, and definitely be on the lookout for Stuart Weitzman. I don't pick up all Stuart Weitzman. I'm pretty picky on it, but I did pick these up because they were in such nice condition. So here we have a pair of Tory Burch flats, and these I got on a day where I picked up a bunch of Tory Burch. That was such a fun day. These are size 5, so they're pretty small, but they still sold for $35 on Poshmark. That was an offer that was sent to me. I had them listed at $50. They are in pretty nice condition, so I listed them at $50, thinking about both the size but also the condition, and kind of landed at $50, knowing that I would take offers. So really happy with this sale. I think $35 is a great price on Tory Burch in such a small size, and in not like the most current of styles. I mean, this is a very classic style of Tory Burch, but definitely not one that, is like super sought after. So these are the mini flats. I do pick up most Tory Burch that I find. I look it up and see what it's worth and all of that, but I hardly ever leave it behind it unless it's in really rough shape. So we sold another Tory Burch item, and these are sandals. I picked them up on the same day I got those other shoes. They sold for $40 plus shipping on eBay, and they took a little while to sell, but it's, I think, because it has this wear on the insole. You can see that the person wore it. You can almost see like their footprint, which is kind of gross. But when you put your foot on there, it covers it up, so it's not like that big of a deal. And often with shoes, some shoes are really susceptible to that, where like you wear it once and it looks like that. And I think these might have been that type. And so I'm excited to get these off to the buyer. And I was just really excited to pick up a bunch of those, and it seems like they're starting to sell as maybe people get ready for spring, looking to, wear more sandals, that sort of thing. But definitely be on the lookout for Tory Burch. It, at least at our bins, it's kind of competitive to, be the one to pick it up, but I'm really happy whenever I'm the one that wins them, in
in the race to pick them out of the shoe bin.
So those were our best sales from the past 2 weeks. In total, we sold 60 items for a gross revenue of $1,650.60. We had a cost of goods of $121.26, and on eBay we sold 36 items for $675.23. Poshmark we sold 22 items for $262.59, and Facebook was kind of this past 2 weeks we sold 2 items for $35.51. So in total, our net profit after fees, shipping, and cost of goods was $973.73. So pretty close to our $1,000 goal, but in 2023 we're trying to be even better at reselling, make more money, and so our goal is raised a little bit, so we're not really that close to that, but that's okay. It's ups and downs, and we're just happy to be making the amount of money that we are.
And when you're increasing your listings and trying to make more profit, it does take a little bit of time. So I think that these next 2 weeks at least, we'll probably get even past $1,000, and it should be a lot better.
Exactly. And we're trying to really kind of consolidate our business and getting rid of items that aren't selling to really kind of streamline our store and all of that. So we're doing like a couple different things here and there, so it's all kind of affecting our sales. But eBay really, came through for us these past 2 weeks. The majority of our profits came from eBay, and we have noticed a difference in our eBay business since they have implemented a couple new changes, like having the buyers be able to set a payment method when they send an offer, so they automatically pay when you accept their offer. That's great. I love getting those notifications, and I see that little, I think it's like a green check mark that's like buyers pre-selected payment time. I'm like, I'll accept lower offers just because of that, because I'm like, I know I'm gonna get paid, versus having things languish, in our unpaid items.
We definitely could have made $1,000 if the 4 people we were waiting for payments paid. And so it is still in that transition period, but we're getting closer, folks. We've been told so many years now that it's coming soon, all of that. And hopefully everyone will transition into this new thing, I don't know, by the end of the year. Goodness.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's an option for everyone. I know that when I sent an offer recently on an item, I don't think I saw that option when I sent the offer. And so I wonder if it's something that's available to everyone and you can choose whether you pre-select a payment or not, or if it's that only certain users have that available to them. So I'd be interested to know what you think, if you have any experience with that, and if you are denying offers from people who don't have the pre-selected payment method and accepting offers from people who do. Let us know what your strategy is down in the comments.
Are you putting your foot down?
Yeah. And then we also had a couple sales that were international shipping using eBay's new international shipping model. And so we are really excited about that, mostly because it seems like it combines the best of global shipping and eBay international standard delivery. And the thing that we are most excited about is no returns. That's great. A couple times we have had things that are not as described that we sent on our fault. That's our fault for doing that. We make mistakes just like any reseller does, and internationally that's really tough, and so usually we just refund the person because the delivery back to the US would be just exorbitant and not worth it most of the time for the things that we're selling anyway. It's not really worth it.
So even though there are no guarantees, eBay has pretty much put this on the front page of their eBay international shipping. It says, if the buyer opens a return, eBay will issue a refund at no cost to you. You keep the sale. So is that a guarantee? I don't know, but it sounds to me like it's almost guaranteed, and you'll make the sale internationally, you ship it out, and you're good. Whatever comes of it, that's basically still your sale. And I just love that. That is a lot of peace of mind, but also it gives you the confidence as a seller that you can now open up your store to international sales, and you can really have a global audience for a lot of your items. So if you're not on eBay, first consider that. You have a whole lot more eyes possibly on your items, more than Poshmark, more than Facebook Marketplace, more than any of the other platforms. And when you do get a sale, you'll feel good about it. You'll know that it's protected, and that's just something that gives you a lot of peace of mind.
We love getting international sales. Often for us, they are the higher dollar items, things that, might only be available here and someone internationally, really wants that, or that item is so much more expensive in where they're living that seems like a great deal from where we are, which is a great deal for us too. So overall, those sales have really helped us this week. So it seems like eBay is, trying to expand really into this international market in a bigger way than it has previously. And it seems like it's doing that by trying to reduce some of that shipping cost. We know when we used to use global shipping that sometimes buyers would complain about the high shipping costs because it would go, from our place to, Kentucky, and then from Kentucky overseas, and buyers had to pay a lot in shipping. And so this new system has lowered that shipping cost for them, which, makes it a little more accessible for international buyers to buy from people like us.
Yeah, and then there's twofold with that because it lowers the selling fees for us too. So it's just something that eBay has really surprised us with. I think it's one of the things that they're moving forward with that has really stepped up their game. Because if you think about all of the platforms that are trying to take market share from eBay is actually pretty smart in the way that they're opening it up to the global audience a little more, making things a little easier so that they can excel at something that they are doing better than anyone else. Poshmark doesn't have a global audience like that, and a lot of the other platforms are very isolated to the US. So to us, eBay is the best, and that's why we make most of our profits there. That's why we put a lot of our time there and a lot of our efforts into trying to optimize our business so that we can really get as many sales as we can. All right, now it's time for our segment on building wealth, and this is where we update you on our total stock market index experiment. It's actually doing a little better than it was 2 weeks ago, but still not great. The economy is not great, and we're gonna continue to see this for a little while. The other thing we wanted to talk about is a question from our friend Flippy McFlipperson. How do you stay motivated to budget, invest, and save? That one to us has been a work in progress for a very long time. And now we've gotten to a place where it's pretty much automatic. We have good habits, and that's kind of the answer. So I automate my 401k. That's very standard. Every time there's a paycheck every 2 weeks, that gets put into the retirement account. But also we invest and save in our regular accounts where Camilla, with her reselling, she puts whatever we need into our budget from the business, and that's what she pays herself. That's part of budgeting and part of saving. And so what we do is we kind of begin with the end in mind. What do we need for the month? What do we need for our retirement? What do we need for the year? And then we work backwards from there, and we try to automate it as much as we can. So those are the broad outlines of how we save, invest, and budget. It's not exactly super well defined, but we've defined it for ourselves in a way that we feel comfortable and we're able to make adjustments wherever we need to.
Yeah, and I think, beyond that, once you kind of set up those systems that the money moves without you having to constantly make that decision, that's helpful because you don't have to always, decide like this is how much I'm going to save, this is how much I'm going to invest. You've decided once, and then that money is gone. And then you don't really have it in your possession anymore almost. But then the other piece of it is with that money that's left over is, when you're making decisions in your daily life, what I sometimes think about is, do I want whatever this thing is, whatever I'm trying to spend my money on, do I want it more than I want us to have a, solid financial future? Do I want it more than what I want for Kang to retire? Do I want it more than that? And am I willing to, spend this money and delay that however much time, even if it's just like, okay, the amount of money that I would spend right now would be like an hour of Kang's work. But to me, that helps me kind of solidify of like, okay, I'm trying to balance both my happiness now and my happiness in the future. And how can I hold those two things in balance and make sure that what I'm choosing to spend my money on right now is actually adding to my happiness in the present day, and will continue on, I'll feel good about that when I look back on it in the future.
So there you go. This is actually going to be the last question that we're taking for the series. We're thankful for everyone who submitted a question. I think in the future, we're just going to update you on the total stock market index experiment. We're very committed to that, and we're committed to showing you that in the future, but we're going to keep this segment pretty short in the future. So thank you so much for all your questions. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for watching. Let us know down in the comments what you think of eBay's changes. If you are committed to saving and investing, how you stay motivated, let us know down in the comments. We'd love to chat with you down there. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that it's a good video, and we think it's a good video, so if you agree, give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. We would love to have you as part of our YouTube community.
Yeah, keep that passion burning, y'all. We hope that your year is going well so far, the beginning of the new year. And if you celebrate Lunar New Year, Happy New Year to you again, and we will see you later.
Bye.